So as I'm setting up for my installation and video today, I went and just was double checking all the pistons to make sure out one was facing this way while the piston was facing the right way. I was just double checking everything, and I had made one of these backwards. I thought I had double checked it. I thought I had caught myself making the error, and then I thought no, it's okay. Turns out, yeah, you can turn the rod the right way, but the piston was still showing the wrong way. So I've got to flip one of these, and I'll bring you back. Okay, so now that my initial assembly error is returned to proper position, notch facing flywheel, this one should say out one, and the bolt should be accessible from the bottom. I have those bolts out already. Notch facing flywheel, out two, bolts facing the bottom, so we're good there. And then I'm going to start with just oiling up the cylinder. I've already taken this cap loose, the bolts, take that off. I'm going to clean this 100%, get it ready for assembly. Now the rings, some people say they float around for the first, several minutes until they find a happy home. Some people are dead set on making the gaps not on the same side. I'm along that way of thinking, just in case these don't float around until they get seated, then it would matter. So I'm just going to place them on opposite sides, and that's what I've done there. Just get some standard motor oil here. Get those rings all coated, because it won't have a chance really before you try to start it to get up within the ring grooves and everywhere it needs to go. It doesn't really need to get in the ring grooves, but you want something. The bottom is where most of the oil is going to have to be. The top area won't get lubricated under normal conditions, except for whatever leaks by, so if that makes sense. And then the cylinder itself, and that's with the cylinder 100% cleaned already. I got a ring compressor here. Get something with a soft face, like maybe the rubber of your mallet or something, and they should go in very easily for this diameter piston. No problems at all. Now we want to guide. Maybe if I can tip that back you can see it. We want to guide. I'm going to put the crankshaft so the eccentric is all the way at the bottom. I'm just going to push this with my fingers while I'm guiding it onto the crankshaft area. For this, I'm going to use assembly lube. I absolutely don't want that oil to, it's very much stickier than regular motor oil. I absolutely don't want that lubrication to go away before I get a chance to run this engine. So I'm lubing up the inside of that connecting rod. Just doing both sides of the crankshaft because I'm going to be putting the other one in here in just minutes. And get a good coat on that. You don't want that to run dry even for a second. It's pretty critical. Alright, and then I'm just going to keep moving the piston down. Keep guiding it onto that crankshaft. Looks like it wanted to go a little crooked on me. Give it a little gentle persuasion. There we go. Again, why not some more lubrication on this connecting rod cap? And that stuff is so sticky. I don't know if you can see that on camera, the strings. It really stays put, so even if you don't run this engine right away, you're going to be just fine. Putting the bolt in from the connecting rod bottom cap into the rod itself. And because I don't know if the other one gets in the way or not, I'm going to actually tighten that one now. I was thinking about just leaving both of them loose and then tightening them as a pair, but the more I think about it, that other one's going to be hanging down there, and I'm not sure if I'm going to have this easy of an access to those bolts. So I'm going to get the torque spec and bring you back. So for this particular engine, I believe the correct torque spec is 115 inch-pounds. Don't take my word for it. Look it up yourself on your own engine. If I'm wrong, I'll take the consequences for my own actions. When I do bolts like this, I like to do them in increments. I don't just go for the full torque right at one time there. So I'll do it in 3 different passes. And to me, these are the most critical bolts on the whole engine. You do these wrong and everything's going to fly apart. Alright, here's my full torque. Good. Now for this next one. Alright, cylinder 2. Got it all oiled up, got everything cleaned. Get this one lined up. Nice and gentle. Everything's oiled, cylinders oiled, rings are oiled. Bearing cap is cleaned out. I did not grease it yet with the, put the assembly lube on that yet because I don't want any dirt as I'm tapping anything or anything to get in there. It gets stuck to that dirt. Or it's stuck to that grease. Grease and dirt stuck together. You know what I mean. That should go in real easy. If you got those rings compressed good, they should just go in nice and smooth. You shouldn't have to tap it. You shouldn't have to really get after it. Now I'm going to clean the bearing cap inside, or the connecting rod half. Double check that that's clean. Now I'm going to put my lube on that half. Okay, I'm going to get this seated all the rest of the way down. She's home. Man, are my hands slippery. I'm going to back the torque wrench off again to a lower number. Bring that together. Good. Adjust it again somewhere in the middle of the torque that I want. Then I'll go for the final torque. And I'm just going to go over them all once more. As I mentioned earlier, I think these are some of the most critical bolts on the engine, so we definitely don't want to screw that part up. Now let's see if the rotating assembly feels right. And we're getting a nice even coat of oil spread with the rings. Sure, feels good. Alright, and you can see why I put the crankshaft down before, because it would be real hard to get at these bolts. If you have this eccentric part all the way at the bottom, you have much easier access to it. Alright, now I've got this little gear. The key is still in the crankshaft, so we're fine there. And then I want to put it Don't know if you can see that on camera, but there's a little dot right there, and that dot should face up so we can see where the timing is for when we go to time it later. There we go. So now I've got the camshaft and governor assembly. This is a replacement one. All these parts were broken on my other one. And to install the governor actuator, get all the flyweights out of the way. There's a stud there, and there's a hole there. So let's get that to drop down there. Simple as that. Now, another pretty critical thing as far as getting your engine to not self-destruct before it gets good lubrication flowing around. We will put on the end bearing and all these journals, put some assembly lube on those, give them a good start. Alright, now here's where the timing comes into play. I'm going to set that there. Okay, this one, I'm going to have to turn that. Maybe like straight up and down, probably. And then this has got a dot here, and those two dots have to face each other when we're ready to put it in. And I'm one off. Whoops. There we go. Those dots should perfectly line up. One dot on the camshaft, one dot on the crankshaft. So unfortunately, I just tried to fit that gasket, and it's a little worse for wear from shipping. I don't want to put any gasket sealer on this at all, so I'm going to use some high-tack, they call it, gasket sealant. I'm just going to use this sort of as a glue, but only to one side of the engine, so I could possibly get that off again without having to replace a gasket. There's no reason to put gasket sealer on a gasket, except if, to me, the only reason I do that is if it's a cork gasket. And this stuff is super duper tacky, so I'm just gonna dab it on a little here and there. The last thing I want to do is fold it over and tear it while it's being assembled. Let's see if that's going to be enough. I think it will. Now let's see if the gasket will stick to something. Line it up on these for... wrong way. Line it up on those for alignment. That's still wrong. Flip it. Well, like it or not, I got high tack on both sides now, because I did that backwards the first time. What if I try to wipe some of it off? Maybe. Nah, it's pretty sticky. See how quickly that sticks? And now you'll be able to just send those bolts right through. You won't have to be worrying about is the gasket folded in where you can't see it or something. This area is still being a little tricky. We're close. And I see we have an O-ring here. And I will find that in the kit and replace that. That must be for oil pressure. Alright, looking for one that looks like that. Got a bunch in there too, but those are bigger ones. Here, I think we got it. Yeah. That's the one. Okay. Oil pressure O-ring is in. Everything's laying relatively flat. Actually, let me put these back in here before I lose them. Okay. I've got this surface. Give it one final wipe down. We got our gear already in there. That one doesn't matter where it's clocked. It's just a standard gear. So now I'm going to have to line up this in the hole, and then this will, of course, come through here. And as I'm thinking about that, I will lubricate up the shaft and the inside of the O-ring, or the seal, crankshaft seal, so I don't rip it as I'm putting it on there. Just nice and easy. Probably trying to push on that crankshaft, right, or that camshaft, and the camshaft's probably with gravity a little bit down, so I'm going to make it gravity go away by putting it flat, and then give it a little persuasion here. I'm just watching that seal very carefully. And it's not happy. Something isn't going here. Oh, and I think it just went. Yep. And we're going down on those pins now. There was those two pins that help locate the gasket, amongst other things. Yep. Alright, I'm going to go easy on that till I get some of the bolts put in, and these will make sure the gasket can move in and out, up and down if it needed to. Looks like most of them are fairly well aligned. And that one is different than the rest. And that one is also different than the rest. I will hopefully figure that out, where they go. And that one is different than the rest. Those might be for something altogether different. That's what happens when you take it apart months ago. Oil pan sump is back on. Now less chance for contamination as we do the rest of the work. So I'm going to go outside of the standard order of things. Usually you'd put the heads on, get the motor completed, then put the coils, then put the flywheel and stuff. But just for the sake of, I'm not ready to bolt those heads back on yet because I want to see... in the normal order of things, you would put the heads next, get the engine buttoned up, and then put the flywheel on, things like that. But in this case, I'm not ready to bolt those on yet because I haven't lapped the valves yet. I still want to lap the valves, and I still want to still have to take it off and get all the garbage out of the air fin there, and just clean them up a little bit more. So for today, I'm going to do what I'm ready to do, and that is put on the flywheel. And to put on the flywheel, you first need your flywheel key. Make sure it's not damaged, or else just throw it out. Put that in its hole. This has a little more dust than I'd like to see. Let me blow this out and I'll bring you back. Okay, flywheel key's in. This thing's cleaned out. Align your keyhole there. Trying to push out of the way. Think we got it that time. And that needs a giant socket, which I'll have to find. Alright, I found the socket. Not an easy task when you work primarily on smaller things. 1 3/16 fits it.